Thanks to everybody for being here. We're coming off of a interesting weekend. We got a split at home, lost literally at the buzzer against Arizona State on Friday night. A tough physical, really hard fought game. I thought we played pretty dang well. And Arizona State's good. They're ranked top 20. But we had a chance. We were up 6 with a minute 20 to go, I think. And to their credit, they came back and kind of stole it, hit a kind of an unbelievable shot at the buzzer, banked it in. It's a hard, there's losing stinks no matter which way you do it. I hate losing. There's no good way to do it. I don't enjoy it at any time. But losing that way is the hardest of, it's just brutal. It's a tough way to lose. And then we find out Saturday morning that Denisha Provo, our second leading scorer, senior captain, tore ACL in the third quarter. When I saw it happen, I kind of had a hunch that's what it was. It was just one of those awkward falls. And so it was a tough Saturday, to try to bounce back from that loss. And it just kind of felt like it slipped through our hands. And then to realize that Denisha was out for the year, it was tough. And so, the team was it was just a really hard 36 hours. And then we had to turn around and play Arizona at noon on Sunday. And they had won 11 games in a row. And they were, they've got one of the best players in the country, and we just kind of talked about this is what life's about, this is what sports are about, and no one's going to feel sorry for us, and we just got to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, and all the stuff we talk about, we were actually in the situation where we had to do it. And so to come out Sunday and play the way we did, I was incredibly proud of my team. It was we were up 30 in the third quarter, 31, I think. And ended up winning by 16, but, kind of took our foot off the gas, and that's okay. We were kind of out of gas. But, just an incredible effort by our entire team. Kids that didn't play, that are injured or redshirting, to the guys that were out there. Just a great effort, and we convincingly beat a really, really good Arizona team. So kind of a up and down weekend, or down then up, but kind of showed a little bit of our character and our culture coming through. So now, like in anything in this league, there's no rest for the weary. We just buckle up and we're at the Washington, so the men play them at home, and we're in Pullman on Friday and then Seattle on Sunday.
Coach, obviously with the things that happened over the weekend, do you have to reshuffle the deck, regroup? How do you approach the rest of the season? I know you had the emotional lift with the Arizona game, but
yeah.
The reality is you're without your second leading scorer the rest
Yep.
of the season. How do you go from this point on?
Well, and that's what we talked about yesterday. It was a great, it was an emotional, losing Denisha was hard, but also the way we lost was really hard. It was just a gut punch. And so, it took a lot to kind of dig down and recover from both of those things. But that's what I talked about yesterday with the team. Like, hey, this is our group. Like, Denisha's not going to limp in here and come back in 2 weeks. Like, unfortunately, the ACL is just such a bummer. And in the Pac-12, we lost 3 really good players Friday night to ACLs. It's just crazy. And so just it's, Oregon State lost one of their best players. We lost one of our best players. And then Stanford lost a post player to a knee, all on Friday night. Kind of crazy. But anyways, it's just one of those injuries that, there's been a lot of advancements in medicine and science, but there's no advancement in the ACL recovery. It's a 9-month recovery no matter what. So Denisha's not going to, hobble back in and sneak back in the rotation. It's not an ankle. It's not a wrist or whatever. And so that's what I talked about. Like, this is it. So hopefully Sunday gave us some confidence that we have the ability. We're not going to be, Lord willing, as emotionally down and, it's not going to be that hard to get back, to kind of muster the, fortitude that we needed to on Sunday. But, this is our group. Like, we have 8, so do we have to reshuffle? Yeah. I mean, you eliminate someone that's averaging 28 minutes a game. But, we went through, and I went through every person on the roster. We talked about what Denisha brought to our team. And, they're able to articulate precisely what she brings to our team. And so I went through every player and said, this is where you can help pick up the slack. You don't replace one player and just, you don't lose a player like that and then just slide somebody in like, okay, done. That was easy. So you remove a great player like that, then everybody that's able to compete has to pick up a little of the slack. Maybe Kiana Moore does a little more of the defense and guarding the other team's best player. Naya Becker's going to get some more minutes, freshman at the wing. She's got to do some of the rebounding Denisha did. You just piece it together, reshuffle, whatever. Everybody's going to have to pick up the slack.
I don't know what the total is for the year, but every time I look at the box score, Megan has this incredible plus minus figure. So, I mean, what's it like to coach in the minutes when she's not on the floor?
She's just so good, and you're right. Like, I don't remember what it was, but there was a game a while ago. It was like she was plus 38, which for those of us that aren't stat geeks like I am, it just means when she's on the floor, what was the plus minus, what was the score? So when she was on the floor, we outscored them by 38 points. I don't remember what game that was, and she only played like 22 minutes or something. It was insane. She's just incredibly efficient. So, you try to be clever's not the right word, smart about subbing. I don't want to pull all of our scorers out at once and sub. And so, there's kind of an art form to substitutions, especially when you're dealing. But there's also variables. There's two things that affect substitutions, in my opinion, how I sub. It's momentum and fatigue. So if there's momentum with a group out there, I'm not the coach. We don't play 100 games like in the NBA where it's like, okay, at 8 minutes, so and so's got to come out, and you're coaching for the whole 100 games. If there's some mojo going and some momentum going, they're going to stay in. But then or if momentum's going the wrong way, then you sub in to try to get some momentum going the other way, or fatigue. And so with like Huffy, very rarely when she's on the floor is momentum going the wrong direction for us. However, she, 40 minutes it's hard to not give her some rest. So we try to, give her rest around the media timeouts, that kind of thing. But it is hard to not have her on the floor, that's for sure.
Coach, obviously if you're losing, there's a lot of problems in the sense like you're trying to keep morale up, you're trying to keep people doing different things. But on the flip side, now that you're winning a lot and doing a lot of things, is there kind of an equal type of situation where you're always trying to kind of fend off the complacency or just the ability not to relax, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a risk. But I think how you beat that is you get the right people. So we have players in our program now that we've recruited that are not wired that way. They're not, this is a really special group in terms of it's not about them. It's about us doing things in the Pac-12 that women's basketball has not done. We've done amazing things in this program in the Mountain West and Sweet 16s, Elite 8, all that kind of stuff, but we haven't done a whole lot nationally since we've been in the Pac-12. And so we've recruited to that bend of we want to find those guys that are like, yeah, I want to be the reason that we do things differently. So no one's here to have a great kind of non-conference season and, like, oh, wow, aren't we cool? And we're 12-0 or whatever. We're all here, and these players are here to do things in the Pac-12 we haven't been able to do. And so they are as motivated as ever. And it's been kind of cool to see that they're quite consistent. Win a big game, win by a lot. One player has a big day, Pac-12, player of the week or freshman of the week, whatever. And it's kind of like, yeah, cool. Like there's not, this strutting around like, yes, at all, which is refreshing. But that just tells me that we've recruited the right type of players. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.